I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faces of Leon.
Ooh. It's getting close to the Halloween times, y'all.
Yes. Welcome to Green and Faces on the Couch. It's a podcast.
And you know what? We'll get it out of the way real quick. We'll just toss it out of the way. We can run it over. It's fine. Halloween, we're gonna have a new episode of Bangers and Hash. Hopefully,
yeah.
It's on the schedule to be recorded and edited. Hopefully, it'll be out on Halloween. And if you want to listen to that, you just go down to patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Check out the $5 tier. That's where you get access to Bangers and Hash. You can check out the other tiers too. There's some pretty good stuff all around.
Right.
But yeah, thank you guys. Love you.
There will also be, there will also be an episode of the Super Scary franchises playlist.
Ooh.
And that's not even the end of the franchise playlist. So yeah, that'll come. We're bleeding into November.
That one will be available for everybody. You don't have to go to Patreon.com for that one.
That's right.
But yeah,
and
it's gonna be a very hoppin' Halloween for us.
And we've been doing the Super Scary franchise for the last. It started 2 years ago, but we only did the first episode then. Then we did 2 through 5 last year, and we finished it out this year. So we hope you guys. Well, we will finish it out. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. We know that our schedule's been a little wonky lately. We apologize for that. But I've just been pretty busy at the day job, and also just came back from Tennessee, and that was a lot of fun. Got to see my mom, and it's pretty close to her birthday.
Nice.
Let's delete all that. It's near her birthday, and we did have a surprise. Which on that one day that we were there, which, that kind of seems silly to go from our state, which I think we mentioned we're in Indiana. We're kind of south.
Right. Good old true heartland.
Yes. And anyhow, it's still like a 6-hour drive, and that was a lot just to see them, but it was fun. And
nice.
We played putt-putt on a mountain, and that was also fun.
That sounds lovely. Yeah, your family loves the surprises. We haven't done surprises ever in my family, and I'm not always a huge fan either.
I'm not a super huge fan of having them on me, but if other people enjoy it, I enjoy doing it for other people.
Right. Yeah, I detest being the center of attention. I don't want to be ever.
I only like it when I plan it to be so. I do not because I'm a performer, my family thinks that they can just be like, "Oh, hey, monkey, can you dance for us?" And, and it's like, no, I am not prepared to do that. Thank you.
Yeah. That's how I feel about if I have a doctor in the family, and it's just whenever I
reach
out for stuff on that, I'm just I could just go to my doctor. My mom will be like, just text him, and I'll just be like, yeah, but that's still more knowledge based. I know it is, but at the same time, it's also your job, and I don't want to do my job when I'm off the clock. It's slightly annoying. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But he loves you and wants you to and wants you to feel taken care of too. Right. Quite. Oh, but here we are yet again with another returning idea. We started this last year, and we're continuing it. I almost forgot about it, honestly. But we did a TV Talks last year for American Horror Story Murder House, and we thought it'd be fun to do that every Halloween. And it was kind of like a last second where you were like, "Are we doing that this year?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" You're right. It was pretty last second. I'm happy we remembered though. Yeah. This year's the second season was Asylum. What's it called? Asylum. Asylum. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So you, to make it even more, transparent, it takes place in an asylum called Briarcliff. And,
Yes.
yeah. Jessica Lange makes a return to this series as Sister Jude Martin, and she runs the institution, and she is fairly abusive, but she feels that she is being guided by some path. She thinks that she's in the right in the things that she does, but she also kind of does them because she sometimes feels that she needs to protect her Monsignor Timothy Howard, played by Joseph Fiennes.
And also, Jude Martin, as we find out as the show goes on, has a very dark history.
That's right.
Specifically with alcoholism and with a hit-and-run case, which haunts her and her,
It does.
And yeah.
Gravely.
It's her test.
It is her
test
burden.
of her religion.
Her burden. Her cross to bear. So, Lana Banana Winters, she played by Sarah Paulson. She shows up to do a story on Briarcliff. She comes in to talk about the bakery, quote unquote. But really, she knows that these places are horribly run and wants to break a story.
Well, I thought wasn't she going there to talk to Kit? Because
you're
him
right.
as a murderer?
You're right.
Yeah,
so
she's doing like an expose on the bloody face killer.
Evan Peters gets thrown into the insane asylum to be evaluated.
Rehabilitated?
Evaluated.
Oh, yeah.
Because that brings in another character in a bit. So he gets to be brought in because he supposedly killed his wife, Alma, played by Brittany Oldford.
That's a very bold way to spell Brittany.
Yeah. It took me a second.
It's definitely pronounced Brittany, but it's Britney. It's
definitely Brittany.
I don't know if her parents were just lazy or if they really wanted to just make a statement.
I don't know, man.
I mean, to be fair, any other letter after that is superfluous. Like, you don't really need a Y after it now that you look at it.
Yeah. It makes sense, but it took me a second. It tripped me up. Stop making fun of her. She did a fine job as this sometimes character, Alma Walker. So Kit supposedly killed her and a bunch of other women and stole their skin and made a face mask with it, which I guess is where you usually put masks.
That's what the public believes.
That's what the public believes. He believes that he was abducted by aliens, and so was his wife.
It's very sane.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes
sense.
as a Gorshin, I can say with all honesty, we do abduct people. I'm sorry. We have to do our tests.
You have to.
We're told by our government, so, it's kind of like
So you're just following orders.
I'm banished. I'm not part of that shit.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
Is it because you spoke out against that shit?
No. I'm no hero, I gotta be honest.
And neither was the good Dr. Arthur Arden, played by James Cromwell, who is the head physician at Briarcliff. Thanks for mentioning him.
Right.
There is some suspicion fairly early on that he's a Nazi. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah. And that's also one of the just like in the first season where we talked about Evan Peters' character in the first season. He was a school shooter.
Right.
And they gave him like an emotional backstory kind of thing where it's like you're trying to, the show's trying to make you like feel for him and everything. Right.
But I got that a little bit more than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't do that too much with Arthur Arden, but there are moments where they try to give him this like deeper emotional side. And I'm like, am I supposed to feel sad for him in this moment? Because I never feel bad. I really don't.
He's disgusting, man. No. He does also try to rape a couple of people in the show too. He's pretty gross.
Yeah.
But James Cromwell's great. I think he's a marvelous actor.
One of the best. Like, this show gets like the best actors, and like, yeah, their whole cast this time around was like even better than the first time around. Like,
oh yeah, I think so. And you know what? I think that this series is underrated, and I used to count it among my least favorite. But this rewatch, I think, might have changed my mind, at least on the ranking. Like, it's not my favorite by any means.
You're talking specifically Asylum, right? Not the American one. Yeah.
This season.
Yeah. I remembered it not being that great, and I remember why now, because after I have finished it, those last 2 episodes are just like some of the dumbest in television. Like, because they've wrapped up every single storyline except for like one, and then they drag that storyline out so long, and the endings are kind of like vague, and I guess a lot of these characters come back in later seasons, and that might be wise because they wanted to bring them back, and they didn't want to end off a lot of the storylines so that they can do it again.
Maybe. I do not recall.
Yeah, it felt very like, I don't know, there's so much that was like at the end I was like, okay, like all the storylines are wrapped up. What are we doing now? Like,
yeah,
just kept going.
So,
but I liked it too. That's the weird thing is like, even though I complain about those last 2 episodes, I still liked what happened in those 2 episodes, but it no longer felt like a horror story.
Yeah, the horror story is just gone at that point. Oops. Yeah. So back to the synopsis. Lana Banana, she comes to the Briarcliff to try to break a story, but while she's there, her partner Wendy pays her. I think that's how you're supposed to say the character's name, but it's Clea Duvall. She turns Lana in as a homosexual, which is, I don't know if it was necessarily, I don't remember what date it
she was became. Coerced.
Yes. You're right. Wendy was coerced to turn her in by the people at Briarcliff. Because Sister Jude wanted to cover up the mistreatment of the people, which was the story that she was going to try to break. She did talk to Kit Walker, but she's a very ambitious person. Lana is, so she is trying to see what all different angles she can find at this place, especially after she gets incarcerated is not the right word.
It's fairly accurate, though.
Admitted, maybe. Committed is the word.
I mean, but Briarcliff, at least, it does kind of feel like incarceration because some of those people literally
definitely
a lot of these characters are innocent. Like, I mean, specifically Lana Banana. Yeah, Lana gets tossed in there. For conversion is what they want to convert her. Yeah, and
I was gonna say she is guilty, but guilty as charged, as in yes, please. And that's fine. It's how people are. God damn it.
Right. And there is one moment too where the first conversion treatment, her doctor is played by Zachary Quinto. Right. The character's name is Dr. Oliver Thredson.
And he is also there. He's really only there to evaluate Kit Walker, but he sees that Lana is there and is like, you don't belong here. Something's
exactly up. Yeah. And at first he seems very helpful, very against the treatment and everything. He seems very disturbed by it. But sadly, you find out that it's all a front because he is actually spoilers, but he's Bloodyface himself.
That's a big spoiler. I didn't think you were going to do that, but you did it.
I did it. And he only wants to evaluate Kit so that he can get Kit to confess as Bloodyface and therefore cover up his own killings. It's really...
man, Zachary is just so good at playing manipulative.
A villain. Yeah. Yeah, he is. He really is. Well, I mean, even when he just seems like, innocent and vulnerable and emotional doctor, and the first few episodes, it's like, oh man, Zach, you're so good at this.
Yeah.
And then you see like a coy smile and you're like, ooh, maybe this guy's not that innocent. That was a weird smile.
Yeah. Like
Siler. And then it just keeps going.
Like Siler even had those moments where you just felt so fucking bad for him.
And also where you just were kind of rooting for him to be a hero sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those moments where you're just like, he could do this. No, yeah, Zachary's a great freaking actor. Like, I even like his Spock. I know a lot of people are kind of
I like it
contentious about his Spock, but I think for the most part people think he's great because he does a good job. He makes it his own.
It's his own while also still being an homage, and like that's like that's what you want from a reinterpretation.
But I will say that I think Sarah Paulson steals the show in this season.
Yes,
because
100%.
The shit that goes to the shit that happens to Lana is just bad luck at every fucking turn, and it's so sad.
It is,
and like
shock treatment, the aversion therapy, with the Ikagak or whatever he was using to make her sick. It was intravenous, so I have no idea what it was.
It was hard to watch, man.
Yeah, it was,
and knowing also that shit literally, like, not only just the conversion therapy, but like all of the shit that happens in this season, knowing all that, you know, in some form that stuff really went down. Yeah, is just so. That in and of itself is horrifying.
Yeah, it went down.
Just like that. That's what makes a good horror story is realizing, you know, that shit really happened. Yeah, and there's moments in this season that were just hard to watch.
This is true. I loved it for that. But I think it did add to the horror element. I could have done with a little bit less rapiness.
There was a lot of that.
There was a bit much of that for me. But. You know, in the first season, I think they played it into the story very well. But this, it wasn't for the story really. It was just to give it. Well, I mean, the one part with Zachary Quinto, I'll say the one part with Zachary Quinto, which results in Dylan McDermott's return. That was necessary for what they wanted to do with the epilogue.
Right. Honestly, though, I could have done without that whole plot, the modern day stuff.
I think
because the whole show takes place in the 1960s. Yeah. And there's a subplot that takes place in the modern day involving Dylan McDermott. If that wasn't clear, and like I enjoyed that stuff, but like that was the stuff of the season where I'm just kind of like, meh, that was all right.
Yeah. I get that. I agree. And I think it would have been a stronger show if it was just in the 60s. But I did, the part of the epilogue I did really appreciate, and for some reason they thought it needed to be narrated, was what they do with Sister Jude and Kit in the end. Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
There's one other person who I thought was that really kind of shared that spotlight with Sarah Paulson, though. And I agree that it's mostly Sarah Paulson for me, but Lily Rabe, I believe is how you say her name.
Yep. I was gonna say, if you don't say Lily Rabe, I was like, okay, we got a third one, but nope, I agree with you.
No, yeah, Lily Rabe does an excellent job. She plays technically two different characters, Sister Mary Eunice McKee, and then Sister Mary Eunice McKee possessed by a demon, and it's pretty great.
It's really fucking good. She does the whole part of possession just like so well. To where, you know, at moments you can feel it's Sister Mary Eunice or Eunice. That's right, because she's had such a purity to her, and I think it was something also that Sister Jude was jealous of. Mm-hmm. And that plays really nice between them. And then once Sister Jude realizes, hey, you're acting like completely opposite of yourself. She really tries to save her the best that she can. Right. Yeah. Jude kind of becomes the hero, and it's weird. I wasn't all for that. That's like, I liked her story. Like, right. Up until the point where they're trying desperately to give her the happy ending, and I was just like, okay, but does she deserve it? Like, you know, like, a lot of what she did was just for herself.
Yes.
And, you know, she doesn't really repent for a lot of her actions throughout the show.
Yeah.
And it just, like, people just feel sympathy for her because of how her story goes.
Yeah. And it's like, sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the very least, she makes it up to Lana. She gets Lana out.
And a Kit.
And a Kit. But that's in the long run. Kit had to reach out. And that's the part I really like about the epilogue, is just Kit just being a good person. Like, that's just nice to see sometimes.
Yeah, because Evan Peters, his character is considered to be a vicious murderer. But he finally gets to play just like a heartwarming dude. Yeah. And it's so nice to see.
Yeah. And it's just like, you know, and the others, it's completely opposite of Tate, too. Well, not opposite necessarily. Tate was just unstable. But it's good. I like it. I think the chemistry in the cast is just excellent, really. I think maybe we're going into closing statements. I don't know. Well, we didn't mention Grace.
Yeah, I feel like that's important.
Yeah. Lizzie Rocher, I believe this is the only season that she plays in. I'm not entirely sure.
Probably.
But
she might be, I mean, I've only seen up to Freak, so she might be in Immoral.
Who knows? I think I skipped a couple and watched Roanoke. And dude, that shit is good. I am excited. I know that's like 6 years away. But I'm excited for it. Anyways, Grace is in the asylum as well and becomes a love interest to Kit. And it turns out that she actually did kill people. Spoiler, but
she's your classic axe murderer.
Yes. But anyway, I don't know who else to talk about, really.
Yeah, I'm good to wrap up with my final thoughts here. Like, I really like this season. I think it's a lot of fun. The problems I have with it are like the things that, like I said, like I don't think needed to be in it. The modern day storyline, just kind of boring.
It could be cut.
I don't care about what's going on there. Like, and I do like the interview stuff with Sarah Paulson in the last episode. I think there's a lot of good there, and it's a really good performance. And then, like, her and Dylan McDermott, their whole scene is really good. Like, I do like that stuff. Yeah. But it just wasn't needed for the story.
I agree.
And neither were the aliens. The aliens have a lot to this season.
They just didn't
that I'm just
add
like,
really anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt so awkward being jumbled in with the Asylum. The Asylum stuff, the demon, the possession of Lily Rabe's character, like, that stuff's great. Yeah. I love all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's all really good.
The treatment of Lana in the Asylum is really good. Like there's a lot of beautiful stuff in the Asylum that is really good, really horrifying, and really well executed. The only problem is it's all wrapped up by the 9th or 10th episode.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's 2 more episodes, and it's just, or 2 or 3 more episodes. It's like, but I'm not interested anymore. We're no longer in the fun stuff. Now it's just the other stuff. And, you know, that kind of hurts it a bit. But I still give it 3 stars. I still really enjoy it and think it's a good season.
Nice.
But
yeah, I would say that I was surprised on the rewatch. I think there's just, like, a lot more to take out of it, especially with the performances, than I was able to grab one day a week from when we were watching it live. And I think when we were watching it live, the weird stuff that only happens occasionally, i.e. the aliens, I think that kind of ruined it for me, because it was sprinkled in so seldomly that any kind of storyline that you're trying to grasp from it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't necessarily when you binge watch it either, but it seems less out of the ordinary. Like, it happens enough that you're not thrown by it, I think, when you watch them closer together. But that's not how it was aired.
Just don't wrap it up.
It wasn't it wasn't they didn't do anything with it. Besides, there is one thing they do with it, but it doesn't give us the answers that we're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just it's not satisfying.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I don't know anything about the last few seasons, but I saw a picture which appeared to be extraterrestrial. So they might come back to it. So who knows? I've heard that they've been like trying to do a lot of linking to the classic stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how good that gets. And we'll see.
Years and years.
Oh, I didn't say my closing statement, did I? Yeah, I like it a lot, but I don't think it's a face-and-a-half season necessarily, because I know there's seasons that I liked immediately as being like, yes, that's good stuff. But
like when Kathy Bates comes in.
Kathy Bates comes in. Yes. That's next time. Next time we come back to American Horror Story 1 year from now, and give or take a few weeks or days. And, you know, so.
Or Civil Wars.
Yeah, or Civil. Oh, Jesus. So here. I guess that's the end of the show.
Ended it with quite a bang there.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us. I love y'all. I am the Green Traveler from Gorge.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.